In August 2025, Canada shocked the world by temporarily banning select U.S. financial exchanges. This bold move was a clear message. Canada was asserting its economic independence from its largest trading partner. For decades, the U.S.-Canada relationship was a model of stability, but this action shattered that image, leaving markets and leaders reeling. The White House called it a direct challenge to American economic leadership. Wall Street scrambled to assess the fallout. Canadian officials said the ban was necessary to shield their economy from U.S. unpredictability, a defensive move that felt like an offensive strike. This wasn't a quiet policy tweak, it was a public break, signaling that Canada would no longer accept economic instability from its southern neighbor. Years of growing friction and the America First doctrine had set the stage for this moment. Canadian leaders framed the decision as essential for sovereignty, arguing that U.S. trade unpredictability left them no choice. The move was a calculated risk, forcing a new conversation about the future of the partnership. For ordinary citizens, the implications are still unfolding. The economies are deeply intertwined, so any disruption carries risks for both sides. Canada's assertiveness marks the end of its era as a junior partner, ushering in a more complex chapter in North American relations. The crisis didn't appear overnight. Tensions had been building for years, peaking in early 2025 when the Trump administration slapped a sweeping 25% tariff on nearly all Canadian imports. Ottawa hit back with equal force, targeting billions in U.S. goods. The tariff war quickly escalated. Ontario's premier pulled U.S. liquor from shelves and threatened new surcharges. What began as a trade dispute became a matter of national pride. The USMCA, meant to stabilize trade, couldn't prevent the conflict. Canadian industries, once reliant on U.S. markets, began diversifying, turning to Europe and Asia to reduce dependence. Ironically, as the U.S. tangled with China, it relied more on Canadian operations for stability. Canada, once the junior partner, now had leverage. The trade wars meant to project U.S. strength ended up empowering Canada, setting the stage for its bold financial moves. At the heart of the divide are two nations on diverging paths. The U.S. has turned inward, prioritizing protectionism and restricting immigration. Canada, meanwhile, is opening up, pursuing new trade deals and welcoming skilled immigrants. The difference is stark in higher education. While U.S. policies deter international students, Canadian universities are thriving, attracting top global talent, including Americans. This brain drain is Canada's brain gain. The rhetoric reflects these paths. The U.S. focuses on building walls while Canada champions global cooperation and multiculturalism. This shapes global perceptions and investment decisions. For generations, the two countries moved in alignment. Now the U.S. looks inward, while Canada builds new bridges. This isn't just a temporary disagreement, it's a deeper realignment with lasting consequences. As the U.S. steps back from global leadership, Canada is stepping forward. Ottawa is building alliances with Mexico, the EU, and Asia, ensuring its fortunes aren't tied solely to Washington. Canada's strategy goes beyond diplomacy. It's engaging directly with U.S. lawmakers, governors, and industry leaders to protect its interests, recognizing the U.S. is not a monolith. American businesses now depend on Canadian operations for stability, giving Ottawa new leverage. Canadian branches are critical to North American supply chains, making Canada's voice stronger in negotiations. On the world stage, Canada champions climate action, human rights, and rules-based trade. It's not about replacing the U.S., but about carving out an independent, influential role as a confident middle power. The financial ban and tariff battles mark a fundamental shift in North American power. The old model, U.S. dominance, Canadian compliance, is gone. Now both nations must negotiate a more balanced partnership. For the U.S., this is a wake-up call. Even close allies have limits. For Canada, it's a defining moment to chart an independent course and build resilience. The future depends on whether both countries can adapt and find new equilibrium. Deep cultural and economic ties could lead to a stronger partnership, or a deeper rift with lasting consequences. The stakes for citizens on both sides have never been higher.